Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Amy wrote me an email and said, "Hey, Steve, check this out." And that's a quote from ABC27.com. Jared Weaver writes, Camp Hill woman charged after allegedly making and canceling hundreds of false hotel reservations. This is what I like to call a head scratcher, A woman is accused of making hundreds of reservations at a Cumberland County hotel and then canceling them. And by canceling the fraudulent reservations, that allegedly cost the hotel thousands of dollars because the no-show fee was only a percentage of the reservation price. And that's according to a criminal complaint filed by the Cumberland County District Attorney's Office. So what they're saying is she makes the reservation and then at the last minute cancels it. And apparently she's being charged a cancellation fee, but she still made the reservation. And they're saying that she did this hundreds of times. So it's strange, and we'll talk about this. She's accused of booking more than 400 rooms at a Comfort Suites, and that's just this year. Located along Hanover Street in Carlisle is where the Comfort Suites is. The manager reported that in January of 2025, 44 different reservations were billed under her credit card. Now, you might say, why do they keep taking her reservations? I suspect it's automated and she's doing it online. She claimed the rooms were bought as Christmas gifts. However, investigators asked the people who were supposedly the recipients about it, and they said they weren't aware of the reservations. So then she was warned not to make any more reservations. Investigators say that she continued to do it. One of the fraudulent reservations was made under the name of the police chief. Another was made under the name of the county's former top prosecutor, who passed away last year. When asked if she knew that the man had passed away, the woman allegedly said, "You mean his demise?" And that's according to the complaint. So it makes you wonder if she's got a grudge against, law enforcement. But due to the canceled reservations, the hotel says they lost over $2,000. So she was arrested and arraigned in April of 2025. And as a bail condition, she was not allowed to make reservations at hotels within a 200-mile radius of Carlisle. Investigators say that she continued to make more reservations the following weekend and, in fact, made 96 of them. So she faces multiple felony charges of theft and unlawful use of a computer, along with misdemeanor charges of criminal mischief. She's locked up in the Cumberland County Prison with her bail set at a combined $102,000 by a district judge, and her preliminary hearing is scheduled for next week. And so this is a wild story. And this is the kind of thing where people look at that and they go, wait a second. She makes a reservation, she cancels it, and now she's been arrested. Is that right? Well, there's more to it than that, obviously, because she made more than one reservation. If you or I made a reservation and we read the terms and conditions and it says you can cancel up to this point and get most of your money back, but there'll be a cancellation fee, if we made the reservation and canceled it, we wouldn't get in trouble. But when somebody's doing this over and over and over again, it's more than just them making a reservation and canceling it. And the example I can think of would be like, for instance, if I were to knock on your door and you answered the door and didn't want to talk to me, you could say, "I'm sorry, sir, I'm not in the mood to talk to you." And you could close the door. Was it illegal for me to knock on your door? No, it was not. However, let's suppose it's 4 o'clock in the morning and my car breaks down and I have no cell phone on me and it's an emergency. And there's a house there with a light on. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I walk up the front door, knock on the door, you answer it, and I say, "Hi, excuse me, dear sir or madam. I am the owner of that car out there. It broke down. It's an emergency. Is there any chance I could use your phone? Or could you call for me and call somebody?" Now, likewise, you could say, "No, get off my porch." Did I break the law? No. If I got off your porch, no. Now, let's suppose that I got upset because you refused to help me that one night. So every single night for the next year, I come and knock on your front door at 4, 3, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you answer the door, and, hey, how you doing? Get off my porch. Okay, knocking on the door the one time of the first two occasions. One is where I just happen to stop by, or one is where I have an emergency, which is a better explanation for the 4 o'clock in the morning. But the point is, if I were to start doing that in a repeated pattern to knock on your door, you would call the police, hopefully, because I know some people would escalate it beyond that. But at the very least, you can call the police. Go, this guy keeps knocking on my door. He keeps knocking on my door. Oh, so now we're arresting people because they knocked on your door. Well, it wasn't just one time. It was a bunch of times. Clearly, you're doing it to annoy me. Clearly, she's doing this for some weird reason. And I'm not going to try to deconstruct this because I'm not familiar enough with her. But if I had to imagine, she's got a gripe with that hotel, with the police, with the prosecutor, which, of course, now she's got another completely different set of gripes with them. But I assure you that making the reservation and canceling, making it and canceling, no one's going to look at that and go, oh, she's perfectly within her rights to do that, as long as she pays that cancellation fee. But be that as it may, believe it or not, let's suppose that you said, Steve, if I was in a jury, I'd let her slide. Because unless it says specifically you cannot make and cancel repeated reservations just to annoy us, if it doesn't say that, I wouldn't hold her to that. Okay. A court ordered her to stop as part of a bail condition. So she was arrested and waiting trial, and she was told, if you want to get out, you got to agree to certain things. And one of the things you got to agree to is no hotel reservations within 200 miles and stop doing this, in essence. And she did it again. So believe it or not, if a prosecutor wanted to, they could actually say, you know something? We're not going to bother prosecuting the first group of reservations because it's easier to prosecute her on the bail violation. A judge said, don't do this. And she went and did it, according to the story. At least that's what they're accusing her of. So they can prove that she did it after a judge told her not to. That's pretty easy to make a case for. But I do see this as a problem because I know that there are laws in different states that talk about using a computer to harass somebody. And so the answer to this is not found in the terms and conditions of the hotel's website. What's going on here is to be found in a statute that says you cannot use a telephone or a computer or devices like that to harass or annoy somebody. And no one's going to question that having the hundreds of reservations made and canceled, and by the way, she's making them other people's names. If they're all in her name, I would see a better case here for her. Not much better, but a better case. But here, she's making these reservations, they say, in other people's names, like the police chief or a now passed away former prosecutor. And why is she doing that? That would go a long way towards showing that she is, in fact, harassing somebody. So that's a problem. So we'll see what happens. But ABC 27 reported it, and Amy sent it. Thanks a lot. Hey, Amy. Camp Hill woman charged after allegedly making and canceling hundreds of false hotel reservations, both before and after she was told to stop by a judge. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Is being an idiot like being high all the time?